Gato Perro here, back with another video, and today I'll be reviewing the Marvel Legends Infinite series, Marvel's Nova from the new Guardians of the Galaxy wave. So first off, I gotta give a big thanks to Izzy and Alberto for selling me this figure at my local flea market. Thank you guys so much for the nice gesture and helping me buy this figure. So let's get right into the review. Here we see him in the Marvel Legends packaging in a purple scheme, which looks really cool, and the figure inside with the Groot arm, and then we see a comic book picture of him on the side, and on the back we get a read-up that says, "The Nova Force grants Richard Rider immense power, but without the stabilizing presence of the Exadrian world mind, it would also shatter his sanity." And then we get a picture of the prototype and the rest of the wave, including Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, Drax, Nova, and Iron Man. So without further ado, let's get back to the review of Nova. Alright, so even though it might make some collectors cringe and fear, I went ahead and got Nova out of his packaging, and here we have, of course, Groot's right arm. You know, it looks pretty cool, but I'm not too sure if I want to collect the rest of Groot. I might end up waiting to see if Hasbro ever releases those comic book versions of the Guardians of the Galaxy instead. And I haven't really seen the movie, so I'm not really sure how I feel about them yet. But back to the figure. It is extremely awesome and cool, and like, it's one of those figures where just looking at it makes me want to learn more about the characters, because to be honest, I'm not the biggest Nova fan, or wasn't until now. You know, it makes me want to learn more about the character. I've even gone ahead and looked some of his history. And you know, he's become a very important character in some of the more out there galactic stories, you know, against Thanos and stuff like that. So he's a pretty cool character. He's grown up over the years, where he started as a teenager. He definitely looks older in this figure form. And speaking of like past figures, he looks way better than the first ever Marvel Legends version of him that Hasbro released. And he just totally kicks his butt and make that one look like complete garbage. So really happy with the head sculpt that came out with this, and the entire body mold I think is all new, but it's like a retooled version of the Boogie Cap mold, but with all this new detail and everything, and the marbleized paint color scheme that the plastic naturally has really makes it stand out. It has like this natural shading going across the entire thing that creates itself whenever it's like around lights. So it looks really awesome. Here's a full turn of the figure. You can see how it has a lot of like darker areas just kind of appear by themselves just by the plastic. So a really awesome choice of plastic and the color. So big ups to Hasbro. And with the head sculpt, it looks really awesome. Definitely looks like an older version of Nova. I even like the start too. It's like a smaller version than the first ever Hasbro one. Really like the color of the helmets, and all of the different pieces of the more golden areas they all match together. Sometimes when you get like the plastic and the more rubbery pieces, they just don't really match in color. So I thought they did a good job in there too. Really nice head sculpt. The eyes are white on the inside with like a blue trim going across. And then we get to the shoulder pads. They are on a hinge similar to the old trim from the Iron Man 3, where you can lift them up like this so you can move the arms up and down. And it's just a hollow blue piece at the bottom. And then we got this other rubber pieces like attached to the forearm right there. And I think his waist piece is also rubber. We get down, we got a nice gold trim going across his leg. And then these are also rubber pieces that are held on together at the calf. Here's the back. The Nova logo looks pretty awesome too. So not much to complain about here. Really easy to see why this has become the best-selling figure that Hasbro has released for 2014. Very impressive looking. Alright, so for Nova's articulación, his head is on a hinge that goes up that much, but you can't half it if you want to look up higher. Goes down that much. As I mentioned, he has the hinges on the shoulders to go up like that, so you can get the arms to go up that much. They do move forward and outwards as I showed. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. He does have a wrist that goes side to side and hinges forward and back. He does have an ankle that goes forward enough, not really back for some reason. And these things, I'm pretty sure they don't prohibit it, but oh well. His legs go out that much and they go forward. He has a thigh swivel. He does have a double jointed knees. There's no calf rotation, but he does have ankles move up and down. He does have an ankle pivot. And for his height, Nova stands at about 6.5 inches tall, which is the standard size for the Marvel Legends. And I didn't have anybody else that I could think of to compare him to. So anyway, my final thoughts are, this is an immensely great figure. If you get the chance to find him, or even like get a glimpse of him in your store, you think you see him anywhere, you know, you get a glimpse of like the purple box or something, you pick him up. He is definitely a great figure, like one of those characters I said I want to learn more about now. And yeah, it's a big improvement of what Hasbro changed over the years from, you know, that terrible Nova to this one, and I hope they keep it up with a lot of other figures. I'm really happy for what they announced for the SDCC 14. We're getting our Thanos, we're gonna get a new Spider-Man line, so I'm really happy for that. And if I had to rate this figure, I think I would give him a 9 out of 10. Maybe for some of you might be a bit low, but I like it a lot. So anyway, please stay tuned for more reviews and stop motion from Gato Perro. And I'll be getting back to some Spider-Man reviews, including a comparison of the Toy Biz figures versus the new Hasbro one. And up next will be a Marvel Select Amazing Spider-Man 1 figure review.